Well, it's been a little bit since we've sat down for a coach's interview. Head Coach Charity Elliott, over a month between home games, just with natural Christmas break and everything like that. But finally did come back, finally get the win over Hawaii Pacific on Saturday. And overall, you guys were playing so well up in Northern California. You come back, you have that layoff, and then you have to play 2 games in 3 days. What did you think of the way your team responded just from the second stoppage, essentially?
Yeah, the last month has been kind of crazy with, the break was great. We all needed that. And then to come back and literally we just got hit back to back with COVID. And almost every team is going through it or has gone through it or will go through it. And so I think, when we finally got everybody back together, we had a pretty quick turnaround of 2 games. First game at Concordia, didn't feel like we were our best and needed to make some adjustments and just kind of get back on the same page and kind of where we had left off versus Dominican, felt like we had taken some steps backwards. So it was really good to come back out on Saturday against Hawaii Pacific. And I think what I was so proud of is just the way we shared the basketball. 25 assists on 31 baskets is almost unheard of. And just watching it again, it was just such great ball movement, so unselfish. It was nice to see in a very quick turnaround from Thursday to Saturday the way we adjusted.
3 different players had at least 5 assists in that game, and then a whole bunch of other people contributed as well. But it has seemed, looking at wins versus losses, it's easy to say, okay, well, you scored more or you scored less.
Right.
The thing has seemed, when you guys have shared the ball, it's translated into fast starts.
Right. And
that has seemed to translate into wins. You feel that way?
I 100%. And we definitely have this mindset of, and they're just such high achievers that when things aren't going well, they each want to fix it. And I think that's normal, it's natural. So that's where we just have to, if things aren't going well, and they're not always going to go well, we've got to go back to what we most know and just get back to, hey, we're not going to, get this back in one possession. Let's get back to what we do and working together. And we've come a long way. We really have, and we're still learning. And they've been a really fun group to kind of watch grow and see where we're at. So.
Absolutely. One of the things you said at the beginning of the year when we first started doing these was this team has the potential for somebody different to step up every night and be the leading scorer. Saturday was Ellie Turk.
Right.
Season high, 21 points. She knocked down the 3, which also seemed to settle in the offense a little bit. One thing she said was, for her, it was about letting the game come to her a little bit more, kind of what you said. Is that something you feel like has been a little bit more contagious in terms of getting everybody to understand, hey, you might have a big night tonight, and then tomorrow it's your teammates' turn?
Right. And I think that's how that's kind of the what we've devised for what we're trying to do offensively and defensively. It's very much, we're not trying to run 25 ISO plays for, somebody.
So
right.
Yeah.
Well, maybe if you're that player, but we're really trying to play where, we want the best shot that we can get for our team. And so really getting them to buy in and again, because they're unselfish, they're great young ladies, they want that. They feel the energy when, hey, we're giving up good shots to get better shots. And we're buying into that team first mentality. And I think they sense and feel the energy and the enthusiasm. It does become contagious because they are celebrating each other's successes.
Well, one of the things that you guys have talked about as a team is it takes what it takes. Meaning, on one given night, you might be needed to rebound. Another given night, you might need to be defend. Hopefully, they're doing both every night. But you feel like some of that messaging is starting to translate?
I think so. Again, I think the next step for us is the consistency. We haven't been able to really kind of put things back to back to back to back and seeing, we've taken some steps backwards. And again, the last month is even hard to kind of
quantify, figure out.
Like it's just this is our starting point. We're kind of like, okay, that's been great. We've learned a lot. Now let's start building towards a conference tournament and being our best when it matters the most. And I think anytime there's a new coach, coaching transition, it takes time. It takes time to figure out what we're asking, different rules, different different system. And so it's taken a little trial and error and trying to figure things out and making mistakes and getting back out there and getting back at it and practicing. So
you talked about back-to-back weeks. Now you're going to have 2 games in 3 days. Hawaii Hilo comes into town Thursday night. A revenge game of sorts, trying to pick up after the loss out there. That was just a weird game. It was flooded. I heard the floor was like ice. But they had some career performances in that game. How have you gone about preparing and adjusting for what the Vulcans are going to do?
They had an unbelievable performance that night, and honestly, credit them for sure. I don't think we were our best, but that was our 3rd game on that tough trip, and you're right, there was a flood going on, and anyway, it was a lot. I don't really, I think our players might get into let's revenge. I mean, I just really want us to keep getting better.
Okay.
I really want it to be about, look, remember how we felt, remember what it looked like, remember how we shared the ball, how we made it seem so easy. Let's just do that, and let's defend a little bit better. And just, again, let's keep getting better.
Well, yeah, and it seems like that identity, right, when the defense is there, when the rebounding is there, that's translating to better shots, better field goal percentage and stuff like that. Is that become the identity of the team, or you feel like that's where it's trending?
That's where we want to be. That's where we want to go, because you get stops, you get rebounds, you can then transition, and we did such a great job, I think, against Hawaii Pacific of setting the pace and really pushing tempo and keeping the pressure on the defense. And you can't do that if the other team is scoring consistently, like every time. Then you're inbounding the ball, it's just slower. We want to be up tempo, and so you got to get stops to make that happen. So little by little, brick by brick.
Looking forward to it, brick by brick. Thursday night against Hawaii Hilo at 5:30 inside Golden Gym, and then Saturday against Chaminade at 2 p.m.
Yes, that's right.
Thanks, Coach.
Awesome.